Yeah, always good to be back here. It seems like this tournament sort of gets bigger and better every year. You know, conditioning of the golf course, the facilities. Seems like they're always sort of, you know, reinvesting into this tournament. And yeah, great to be back. It's obviously we had some dicey weather at the start of the week, but you know the golf course looks like it's in perfect shape and should be ideal by Thursday. So yeah, you know it's a fun week. It's always a tough test, and yeah, excited to be back and excited to get going.
Nothing about the week, Rory, but just wanted to just jump off real quick on what your reaction was when you saw Tiger's news yesterday.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, he doesn't have much luck when it comes to injuries in his body, and obviously he was trying to ramp up to get ready for Augusta, and you know Achilles surgeries aren't fun. So yeah, hope he's in good spirits and hoping he's doing okay. And yeah, we obviously won't see him play golf this year, and hopefully we see him maybe play in 2026.
Rory, can you see him coming back from yet another pro like this when he's 50 in December? Are we going to see him competitive?
He'll try. I know he'll try, but again, that's a question for him, not for me. Like I obviously don't know what's in his head, but judging by prior behavior, he'll definitely try.
Rory, this golf course seems to not suit any type of player over the years. Like Scotty's the only guy who's ever defended, and guys do great and then they don't do so great.
Yeah.
Yourself, any sense as to like what you did right when you won, and that have you not been able to always duplicate that? Is that the reason?
I think you just have to be so on your game here. I think that's the main key. It's such a course on execution, and if you're not executing like 100%, you leave yourself in spots where it's really tough to get up and down, and you can just, I saw someone say yesterday, like you can hit one ball in the water and then the very next shot you're faced with the same shot. It's just like mistakes can compound here pretty quickly. So you really just have to be on your game and execute as well as you can. And, I think more than any other course that we play, that's what it demands. You have to hit the ball where you're looking, and if you can do that, you can do well here. But it's and visually, if you're uncomfortable with a certain type of shot, or visually it's very demanding, so it makes you uncomfortable as well. So yeah, it's one of the best tests of the year for sure.
You went out to 6 to see the tree yet?
Yeah, I played it yesterday.
How'd it go?
It was good. It's in a way, it forces you to play the shot. It sort of frames it for you really nicely. So yeah, you have to flight it a little bit, especially when you play practice rounds. All the tee markers are hanging off the back of the box. So I'd say the tee box won't be as far back as I played it yesterday, but you still got to hit it a little. I certainly have to hit it a little lower than my preferred launch window.
Rory, a lot of guys handle being number one differently. Some embrace it, some feel the pressure, some it's like a hot potato. How do you feel about it? And I'm kind of where I'm getting to is the way Scotty's handled it for as long as he has. How your impression of that?
Yeah, I think there's one. It's one thing to get to the number one spot in the world, and then it's another to stay there. And I think to stay there almost requires more commitment. And I think that's what Scotty does so well. He's so committed to his craft, and he's always working, and he's always trying to get better, and we're all trying to get better to keep up with him. So, but he's obviously handled it amazingly well, and he seems like he doesn't really care about anything else apart from just trying to be a good golfer and doing the best that he can, and he's got a great attitude towards it.
Rory, how hard is it? You just mentioned it's all he cares about golf. When you get to that level of success, obviously there's a lot more trappings of fame that come with it. Is it harder to decouple with all that external stuff with your actual golf?
I don't think Scotty cares about fame at all. But yeah, I think like I've talked about the trying to separate the two parts of yourself and trying to be the sort of normal person, but also do what we do. And yeah, sometimes like I've struggled at times where I shoot a bad score and I feel like I'm a bad person, and I shoot a good score and I feel like I'm a good person. I think more than any other sport, it's very hard to separate the two sides of it. But you know, as I said, I think Scotty does a really good job with that. He gets to the golf course, he's fully committed to doing what he does, and then he seems to have a really good ability to forget about it once he leaves.
Rory, what's in the bag this week? Will that be it for the Masters?
14 clubs, hopefully not 15. Yeah, it's the same setup as I had on Sunday.
And will that be it for the Masters? Is that no time to take?
That's the plan.
Was it the same wedge setup you had earlier this year?
Yeah, I just went back to the 4 wedges again. Yeah.
Is it tough to try to tinker with your bag when you've got the big part of the season coming up ahead of you?
Yeah, in a way. But you're always looking for, you're always looking for a little edge. And for me, it was like, okay, if I can find something that goes 300, that would be great. Not just for like what's coming, you know, for a lot of golf courses we go to nowadays, it seems like fairways pinch in at like 310, 320, which is just awkward enough for me to hit driver. But then if I hit 3-wood 285, 290, I feel like I'm not quite pushing it up there as far as I can. But if I have to hit 7-iron into a green instead of an 8-iron, I'll deal with it.
You kind of mentioned the 12-month club cycle last week at Bay Hill. Has that ever been a problem for you over the years as companies are trying to promote new equipment? They use the players they pay to help out, and you're trying to win tournaments.
Yeah. In some, some years you jive with a new piece of equipment a little easier. Like that's like that QI10 that I'm using that they brought out last year. It was like love at first sight. I was like, this thing's amazing. And then I think when you feel like that about a golf club, it's very hard to change into something else. So yeah, it ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's easier than, some years it's easier than others. But look, they're all businesses, and they're all trying to make money and innovate and try to be better. So I understand why the cycle is the way it is.
Are you ever under pressure?
No, never.
Rory,
No.
recently it's looked like you're not so good, closer to your A game than it has been for a while. Is that how you feel about your game at the moment?
Yeah, it feels good. I think I'd say even the two finishes post Pebble have been like almost like the worst that they could be. I finished bad on Sunday at Bay Hill. I finished bad on Sunday at Torrey Pines as well. So the one thing I would say is, from the turnaround of my putting from Torrey to Bay Hill was great. I finished, I think, 5th in putting last week. So to see that turnaround was really encouraging, and that's something for me to be really encouraged about going into the next this week obviously, and then the next few months.
Rory, as somebody who's been on Florida PGL yourself, how much attention do you pay to the U2 generation here, like the Fat Perez's and Grant Horvath, stuff like that? Do you look at that at all? And
not really. Yeah, I'm not of that generation. I'd much rather watch pure competitive. I'd much rather watch this golf tournament on Saturday and Sunday than watch YouTube golf.
is there any part of you that's fascinated about how many eyeballs are on that though right now?
No, look, I'm happy for the people that enjoy it, but I enjoy something else.
Rory, one of the kind of catchphrases that is in the last couple weeks on the negotiation stuff is just getting the best players in the world together more often. Regardless of how these things end up, what would be a good number, do you think, that would appease fans of times playing together? How? I think
You'd have to ask the fans. I don't know. You're a
fan. You watch on Saturday and Sunday.
It's more. Well, hopefully, I'm not watching Saturday and Sunday. I would say it's more than 4, and it's probably my thing is for golf to stay where it is and be relevant. It needs to be. Say we're trying to go for this. Well, no, I mean the worldwide year. It's a year-round calendar. It's got to be once a month, or if not more, right? I think 12 times a year, or maybe a smidge higher than that. I think it would be a good number. But again, that's yeah.
Does it need to be worldwide?
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity for it to be worldwide. Yeah, I think golf isn't just played in America. It's played, it didn't start in America. It's played in a lot of other places in the world. It's been, I would say, look, the main source of capital for professional golf is in America. So the reason that tournaments are primarily, and the bigger tournaments are primarily here, is because of corporate America and the dollars that it brings into the game to fund some of the biggest championships in the world. But I think there is an opportunity to have some of the bigger tournaments outside of America. I mean, I've always been a worldwide player. I play all around the world. I start my year in the Middle East. I come over here. I go to the UK after the FedEx Cup playoffs. I go back to Europe and play 4 or 5 events. So, there's an opportunity. I think we need bigger events in Australia. I think the Australian Open needs to be put up, and sort of held to a higher, the Australian Open was always a very big tournament back in the day. And I think that could be one that could be elevated along with some others. But yeah, I think there's certainly there's an opportunity there to be a little more global and worldwide.
Rory, do you even think any of that is being part of the discussion right now? Are we even at that point where that is, the global idea is part of the tours, Yeah,
well, look, the DP World Tour are a part of this. So, I mean, that's the international tour. And they've always been a part. It's the narrative's always been PGA Tour and PIF, but, DP World Tour were in that framework agreement too. So, that's a part of it as well.
Rory, did you saw Tiger and TGL, I'm assuming you already played with him on the course for a while. So did you get a sense that at least he was looking, gets somewhat of a sense with his swing? And did you think he was kind of getting close, or could you tell just by seeing him swinging the club?
Well, he said he'd only touched the club 3 times or something so I wouldn't say he would have been necessarily close. But he was obviously trying to get closer by ramping up and training and practicing and doing whatever he was doing. But I'd say he was trying to catch up on some lost time there.
You've been relatively injury-free, minus a few soccer games and what have you. How do you see your career winding down? You've got time. You hit a certain age where you're just not quite as good anymore. How do you come to grips with the fact that when you get to an age?
I'll be okay with that. I mean, I'm very happy to move aside for the younger generation to come through. I think I look at other sports. I've had an unbelievable. I turned pro in 2007. I'm 18 years into a career. Not a lot of athletes can say they've had an 18-year career. I'm only 35. I'm not. So, I can acknowledge how lucky golfers are to be able to do what they do for so long compared to other athletes. So, whenever I feel like the time is right, I'll have no problem moving aside and letting the next generation to do their thing.
How do you think you'll know?
I think when I've achieved everything that I want to achieve in the game, and I get to the point where I don't think I can maybe do that anymore. I'd also like to walk away with a little bit left in the tank. I don't want to be out there embarrassing myself. So, I'd like to walk away maybe a little before I should. Put it that way. There's always one more, but but that's okay. I think if you can come to terms with that and walk away on your own terms, and that's a good thing.
If it's still in play like it is now, would you still have the burn to compete in Champions?
Sorry, say that was that?
If Champions Tour is still kind of what
Absolutely
it is.
not. I will not play Champions Tour golf. I've said a lot of absolutes in my time that I've walked back, but I do not envision playing Champions Tour golf. Something has went terribly wrong if I have to compete at golf at 50.
Rory, the Classic goes down later today. How important do you think it is to have those kind of events, to have these influencers come out, play these iconic courses, especially for the younger fans that have so much content available at their hands nowadays?
It's important for them. That's good. No, I don't feel like I'm of the generation, but I can obviously see the intrigue and the it's look, I think it's cool for some people, but it's not. I don't think it's quite for my generation.
We have last question right over here on the left.
Yes, you talked about the sixth hole of the tree there, that you were there with the old tree there. What adjustments, are there other adjustments do you have to make with that? Is this place like the old tree, or are there little differences?
You got to hit it a lot lower, and it frames the entire tee box. It's sort of like you're hitting under like a bridge, or like hitting through a tunnel almost. So yeah, you just have to be a little aware of your launch angle and make sure you don't get the ball too high at the start.
So it's similar to the pre-2014 tree?
No, I think it's better than I think it's better, and it forces you to hit more of a particular shot.
All right, thanks, Rory.
Thank you.
Thank you.